Welcome to the channel, it's Mazer. This video took a lot longer than it should have been. I've tried to make this video as least biased as possible, but I feel like I should just go ahead and brief you guys beforehand. We're talking about Sonic, Crossroads, and Mario was a Grand Tour or something. It's World Tour. So, just getting out the bias, I am a Sonic fan through and through, but I also play video games, and I've been known to play video games that I don't like just because they are decently fun. I've played Smash Bros. I can enjoy playing Smash Bros. As long as I'm playing with Bayonetta, because I only like Bayonetta in that game, honestly. Every other character I don't really mess with, besides, like, maybe Daisy, which essentially is, Peach, but, Anyways, getting into the meat and potatoes, you can like whatever you like, but I do have some analysis for this video. Let's get into it. Sonic Crossworlds, starting off with you. We have seen trailers and we have seen actual gameplay. We've also had leaks for DLC. I'm just going to go ahead and say that the DLC leaks are kind of a plus, just seeing how much the character roster varies. But we won't talk about which characters are actually in the leaks because, legality, and also because it's not cool. Getting into the meat and the potatoes that potatoed the meats. Sonic Crossroads automatically has a huge factor coming into it just being not $80. I can go ahead and tell you guys, guaranteed, the game will not be $80. For one, upon the announcement of Mario, they made a tweet talking about how, hey, we're going to be crossplay, by the way. And I think that them acknowledging, hey, we're going to make fun of Mario for them not being crossplay. I think that implies that they've seen how people react to the game. Because their biggest thing really right now is just to compete with Mario. And I think the most obvious thing to do now is just to make their game not $80. I suspect the game's going to be around $60. If it's $70, I might have to double think my option of actually getting the game. That's not true. I'd probably still get it. But it'd make the decision a little harder. It's a similar situation with Nintendo. Of course, they don't care about your opinion at all. They just assume you will buy it. But anyways, I definitely think they have just the knowledge of how people have treated Mario to know what they need to do for their game. I mean, of course, they have Mario as the blueprint to then make something 10 times better. Same thing with how they originally went with the first Sonic game. But looking back at it all, looking at Mario, okay, like, Nintendo has done the most horrible things. I think the biggest thing holding back Mario is Nintendo. Looking at Smash Bros., the game was carried by all of the DLC characters. The base game, if you just had the base game, the game would have fell off. It would have fallen off so fast. But of course, that's the whole story of Smash Bros., right? It's the whole lot of guest characters that come into the game that make it good. Not a good selling point if you want your game to be good, but, that's their game. Looking at Smash Bros., one of their biggest selling points has been all the characters you have. You have Sonic, you have Bayonetta, you have the Joker, you have Samus, you have the dog from Dog Hunt. You have a whole lot of characters that make the game cool, but then you look at Sonic Crossroads. The game's roster is already stacked before you even get to the DLC. Actually, I think they already announced, like, the pre-order bonus pack, like the Ultimate Edition pre-order, whatever trash. The one that comes with a statue. They announced it, and it comes with a whole trading card set of, like, the characters in their cars. And mind you, all of the characters in the cars they have for the trading cards are just original Sonic IP characters. Because the characters in Sonic are popular enough that you don't need to have the collab characters to make it a good game. Like, even if we didn't get any collab characters for Sonic Racing, it still would have been in competition with Mario. Because Mario, I think, at this point, I don't think it has any collab characters. Which might be a big L for them. But looking at what happened, I think a lot of the collab characters, or rather the companies that would have collabed, just didn't buy the companies. I mean, literally just Sega. I think Sega just pulled all of the characters they had from Smash Bros. And said, yeah, we're going to use them. And we're going to use them good. And that's what happened. We have confirmed Hatsune Miku. We also have the Joker. But I do think there's a high likelihood that we could end up seeing ourselves getting a Bayonetta in the game. And I'm very happy to see Bayonetta in the game. I don't know if you can have a cool car, but looking at Joker's car, it's going to be alright. Joker's car is kind of cool. Not great. It's not as good as Sonic or Shadow's car actually looks the coolest to me so far. But there is also another interesting piece of information I want to think about here. Sonic Crossworlds has way less characters, but Mario has just the worst characters ever. Like, most of their characters don't matter. Looking at what they have here, baby versions, sure. Gold versions and like silver versions, not so cool. Looking at the new new Mario game, I do see some decent skins. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you can actually enjoy having some unique skins for characters. And it actually looks like the different skins are not like, different characters. They're actually just like skins you put on to one character. For some of them at least, which is neat. Certainly not the game for me though. Especially with the open world existing. I would say the open world, like, based off of what I've seen from people playing the open world, it seems to be on par with PS4 Spider-Man's open world. Like, I think it has a similar amount of stuff to do. Like, you can run around collecting suits, aka the costumes for Mario. You have potentially, like, just cool, unique interactions. Like, I think I haven't seen any actually, like, talking, but I've seen, like, just neat details, like, with the bus and, like, having people get off and stops and whatever. That's neat, but, like, it's not, $80 neat, so it's not really a big selling point for the game. I don't think it should be. At least. But one thing they do right, I think, is having how, like, the map actually has all the racetracks in it. Which is good and bad. Because for one, it does kind of complicate making DLC. Now DLCs that, like, have new maps will actually have to include, that on the map. Unless they're going to try and... They could definitely do it. They could definitely do it. It'd just be a lot difficult, to make a whole new place on the overall map. And it's going to probably make the DLC cost more. So enjoy that, Nintendo fans, if it happens. But knowing Nintendo, they probably will support the game for, like, a small amount of time. And then they'll just, like, never talk about it again. But who knows? I don't know Nintendo enough to say that for sure. But looking at Sonic, I think they have around the same maps, maybe less. But of course, no, they have less maps. They definitely have less maps. Because they also have the Crossworlds, which are like mini maps inside the game that work as just like, it just breaks up the flow of the game. Like, you could technically play an entire match on one map, or you could have someone like teleport into a different world. You go into, you don't even want to say it. I guess not Mario. Jeez, you go to Nether from Minecraft for like a couple of, well, it's like 20 seconds, I think. But you're in like a mini track for the Nether. It's neat. It's crossing worlds. It's literally the name of the game. It's pretty cool. But overall, they have less maps. But I'm personally okay with that, just because I think the game's fast-paced nature makes it fine. I think there's a decent chance we're going to get more maps anyways. I think the way the Nintendo's been going right now, they have a lot more DLC to actually announce. And so far, I'm pretty sure every single DLC character, including the Sega characters, have had, like, a map for them. Actually, no, I think it's literally just the collab IP that get new maps, I think. So not Sega characters. I don't think Hatsune Miku has a map. I don't think Joker has a map. But I do know for a fact that, Minecraft has a map. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go into other DLC characters, which I can't talk about because I said I wouldn't talk about them. But, I have seen a leak for a map that's another DLC character. So we're looking pretty good on that one. And a bigger factor, I think, for both these games is they can just re-release old maps. They really can. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of maps. Smash Bros. Has a lot of maps. There's no issue with either of these games for just having more racing maps. It's a racing game for one. Just have as many maps as you want. I think the biggest issue for Mario is they can't really do that because they've made it so like all the maps you can race on are pretty much in the map. Like on the the whole map for the open world. But Sonic can. Sonic can. And let's just say Sonic has a lot of maps they could technically pull from. Sonic Racing Transformed, which is the game they technically just revamped anyways, has a lot of maps. To be fair, a lot of them are actually collab maps, but I have a strange feeling that a lot of those collab characters are going to end up being in the game. Looking at some of the collabs we had in that game, remember, Sega All-Stars Racing, so all the Sega characters that were in that game could reasonably be in the new Sonic Racing game. We had characters like, I think, not Ichiban was in there one. We had Wreck-It Ralph, we had Crazy Taxi, we had the Monkey Ball guy, I forgot his name, I think it's literally just called Monkey Ball, though. And then we had, I'm blanking, doesn't really matter. We had a lot of characters from that game, and they could definitely all be in the game. Literally every single one of them. All of your maps, too. Some of the maps in that game are really cool, so we could definitely get some of those maps. That being said, with Mario, kind of a little less likely to get any cool maps. Definitely possible, though. Just going to be a lot more expensive than for it to be Sonic. Which is really the big axis of the video here. Sonic's gameplay looks like it's going to be a lot more fast-paced and has a lot more things going on the screen, while Mario seems a little bit more chill. And depending on your type of racing game, you're going to either want more exciting action or you're going to want a more simple racing experience. You could technically get both experiences from the game, although you get a little more chaos from Sonic. But it really just comes down to what you want to choose. Definitely, I think I'm going to be choosing the good old-fashioned Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, he's kind of known for racing, right? But that's just me. See you guys next one. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you excited for the $80 game? Or are you more excited for the potentially less dollar game? And also, why do you like Mario? Like why do you want a Nintendo Switch? Like, if you buy a Nintendo Switch right now, what games did you really expect to play that are good? Like actually worth your time, that you couldn't just play on a PC, or better yet, any other console that is probably cheaper at this point. Anyway, see you guys next one.